The deadly rise of giant trucks and S.U.V.s, that's the headline from a New York Times investigation, and what it found should make every pedestrian stop and think. For decades, American roads were actually getting safer. Pedestrian deaths were falling. But around 2009, something changed. Since then, the number of pedestrians killed each year has risen by about 75%. Researchers have been puzzled by this. Most other wealthy countries haven't seen the same spike, which means explanations like smartphones only go so far. Drunk and distracted driving have gotten a lot of attention. But one major factor has flown under the radar: the sheer size of the vehicles now dominating our roads. In the early 2000s, more than half of passenger vehicles were traditional cars, sedans with low hoods. By the 2010s, compact SUVs had taken over. Today, full-size SUVs and pickup trucks rule the road, and many are bigger than ever. After analyzing federal and industry records, including never-before-examined data on vehicle dimensions, the Times found that this shift is killing people who otherwise might have survived. Their estimate, roughly 200 to 400 pedestrians a year would not have died if vehicles had stayed approximately the same size as they were 25 years ago. That's about 10% of the recent increase in pedestrian deaths. So why are bigger vehicles deadlier? 2 reasons. Taller hoods and larger blind zones. Think about what happens when a standard sedan hits a pedestrian at 20 miles per hour. The hood is under 2.5 feet high. It strikes the person in the lower body, below their center of gravity. They get thrown onto the hood. That sounds bad, and it is, but hoods are actually designed to absorb impact, and people often survive. Now picture a modern pickup truck. The average hood height is nearly 4 feet. When that truck hits a pedestrian, it doesn't catch them below the waist. It slams into their chest. They get knocked straight down to the pavement, which is far less forgiving than a hood, and then the truck runs them over. We see a lot of devastating collisions even at lower speeds because the pedestrian gets punted forward, said Sean Harrington, a crash reconstruction expert who conducted tests for the Times. Before the driver knows what's happened, the pedestrian's head is under the wheel. And here's a stat that puts this in stark relief: the average passenger vehicle hood today is about 3 feet high. Anyone shorter than 5'6", roughly half of all American adults, and essentially every child, would frequently be knocked straight to the ground. The second problem is visibility. Larger vehicles create much bigger blind zones for drivers. The Times used a 3-dimensional scanner to compare sightlines in 4 of the most popular pickups today versus their 1990s counterparts. The Chevrolet Silverado's blind zones have nearly doubled. The GMC Sierra and Toyota Tacoma grew by about 60%. Even the Ford F-150, which had the smallest increase, still grew by about 25%. Taller hoods block the view directly in front. Larger A-pillars, the structural supports on either side of the windshield, create especially dangerous blind spots during left turns. Bigger side mirrors add even more. That combination of factors was present the morning Charlene McAllister, a 76-year-old woman from Colorado Springs, left for her job at a child care center. "See you tonight," she told her daughter. She was crossing the street when a Ram 1500 TRX, marketed for its off-road capabilities and fierce-looking design, turned left. Ms. McAllister was not quite 5 feet tall. The truck's hood was at least 4 feet high. The driver later said he hadn't seen her. Court records show the truck's large hood and side mirrors may have blocked his view. Her daughter arrived at the scene to find her mother's hedgehog-themed backpack and red purse in the road, spattered with blood. Automakers stress that vehicle size isn't the only factor. Road design, driver behavior, and new pedestrian detection technology all matter too. Ford's spokesman pointed to systemic issues beyond vehicle size. And independent experts agree this is a complex problem with many causes. But a 75% rise in pedestrian deaths, concentrated in a country that has uniquely shifted toward ever larger vehicles, is a signal that's hard to ignore. This has been your news segment. Stay safe out there, and watch both ways.